man. Alright, budget magic, evoke control, and this one's a mulligan. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Alright, we're keeping this even though it's not hopeful. Not hopeful at all. We have lots of removal. I guess if we draw a blue source and can start leaking things, we have more of a shot. Thoughtseize. So this is most likely Abzan, black-white tokens. Doesn't make it too easy to Thoughtseize. Alright, they take the path. Probably a wise choice. Although all this 1-for-1 removal is so much worse when, if this is the token deck. Better against Abzan, obviously. Oh, maybe our opponent kept one land too. Do we draw land? No. Oh boy. Well, the awkward stare down to see who draws the land first. Drawing an island would be sweet. Or not. Oh boy. Come on, opponent. I don't usually root for people to get mana screwed, but in this situation, this is really... Whoever draws a land first is going to be heavily favored to win this game. Or maybe neither of us will ever draw land. The fact that we're both discarding does undo the downside of this mulligan. Main deck Leyline of Sanctity? Oh. Oh, this is like Death's Shadow combo? Oh. Yeah. So, apparently neither one of us will ever draw a land. We're on turn 7. Opponent drew another Thoughtseize. This is absolutely absurd. Oh man, Worth. Don't you know I'm trying to make a video here? Come on, Island. Come on. Because we know our opponent's going to draw land sooner or later. Oh, thank God. Now we actually got game. So, now I'm feeling pretty good about our chances, actually. Our opponent gets land too. But now that we have 4 counter spells and double dismember, now we just want to keep drawing lands. Not a land. Alright. Now it's the race to see who gets land number. Pay X life, look at the top X cards of your library, put one of those cards in your hand, and the rest, and exile the rest. Do we just let this go? I guess. So our opponent is plunging into the darkness. I think the problem with countering that is then we leave ourselves open to our opponent Faith Shield. Yeah, we leave ourselves open to our opponent resolving a Death Shadow. So we'll leak this Death Shadow. If he has double Death Shadow, that would be bad. No doubt. Well, I guess we just need to dismember Death Shadow and play a tap land. Oh, we will see how this works. Spellskite. Spellskite's fine. Alright, now I think we just dismember Spellskite, and now we're just going to play the counter spell game. Alright, play a tapped isolated chapel. Ship the turn again. So hopefully we can counter anything bad, and if we don't need to counter, then we can Esper Charm and maybe draw into some action. And hopefully before too long we'll be able to get Lingering Souls going. Yeah, so we're just going to draw 2 here with Esper Charm. Land Muldrifter, not the worst. Land is good. Just being up on resources over our opponent is pretty sweet. Can we flashback Lingering Souls? We would have... Yeah, I think we can keep... I think we should keep waiting. Is that right? We already made it through 2 Death Shadows. We would have a leak. Yeah, I think we can flash one back, actually. I think if we flash back a Lingering Souls, we can counter any one play, and now we actually have a clock, which is pretty helpful. I think if our opponent had... Seems like they would have had to play something, right? If they had something good to play. The only downside here is this lets our opponent like plunge and then play something. How do we just lose? I think we just counter that. Counter the plunge. And get rid of the... maybe we should have kept the land. 1, 2, 3. We'll just put both of those to the bottom for now. Undying Evil is sweet, but I don't think it's sweet right now. I think we just got to stick on the counterspell plan. It might have been right to keep the land there, though. So I think the way our opponent's going to kill us is Death Shadow Rite of Consumption, and I don't think they can draw all of that. They could draw a Death Shadow or Rite of Consumption, but not both. Spellskite's actually not too big of a problem. We've used most of our targeted removal already. And now we're just hoping that we can get there with these tokens backed up by our counter spells. Ooh, another Lingering Souls. Should I... Oh man. Alright, let's play it safe. It's tempting to just slam Lingering Souls, flash it back, and have lethal on board for next turn. But it seems like there is possibilities of us just losing out of nowhere. So we want to try to avoid that. So counter spells backing up a 3-turn clock is probably just better when our opponent's not doing much. And leaving up 2 counters gives us some protection against a discard spell. The Mirror Charm actually isn't that bad. The Mirror Charm can kill Spellskite, also counter a Thoughtseize. This deck is spicy. I don't know how consistent this Death Shadow combo deck is. It'd be interesting as to whether or not we should bring in discard. Like, opponent's definitely running main deck copies of Leyline of Sanctity, which just completely blanks our duresses. But if they don't have one, then duress would be awesome. Alright, we might be getting there. Another Lingering Souls isn't doing much at the moment, so we'll just get in for 2 and sit on our counter spells. Hope that works. And we got there. Excellent. So, sideboarding. What do we need? Celestial Flare doesn't seem great. Hollowed Moonlight does nothing. Celestial Purge is probably fine. I'm not sure about Timely. Might want Negate. Really nervous about bringing in Duresses. I'd probably get rid of a couple Wraths. And maybe we want Dispel. I would like the Duresses if it wasn't for those Leyline of Sanctities. And Mirror Charm doesn't kill much. Yeah, let's try it like that. Alright, game 2. I guess this hand's reasonable. Actually, not sure about Shriekmaw. Maybe I should have considered taking that out. Doesn't kill Death Shadow. Although it does kill Avatar of Hope, so that's good. So you can see our opponent fetched, untapped for no reason there, just so he could lose life. So part of the goal of this deck actually is to lose as much life as possible to turn on your Death Shadows. and Avatars of Hope. Then I think it typically wins with Rite of Consumption, which is sort of like a fling. Alright, tap land here. Next turn, we'll probably play Glacial Fortress to set up for an Esper Charm. Spellskite. Yeah, we can't do anything about Spellskite, so we'll let that go. What do we draw here? Path or Dismember wouldn't be horrible to get rid of Spellskite. Well, we'll just play Glacial Fortress, way down the tap lands, and if we don't need to do anything, we'll Esper Charm at the end of turn. We really would like to draw into more removals and more counters, basically. Maybe Dimir Charm. Maybe Spellskite is the reason to leave in Dimir Charm. Alright, blue, white, black for Esper Charm, draw 2. Condescend Suite. What else do we get? Alright, I think we'll just play Untapped Island. Pass the turn, discarding Lingering Souls. And this way we can leave up Dispel and Condescend. And we still have the option to Esper Charm at the end of turn. So not much is happening yet, but we'll keep chaining together these. Keep chaining together these Esper Charms to draw some cards. Leaving up the Dispel in case our opponent has a Plunge into Darkness. Once we draw a Muldrifter, we can do some cool things. Leak and Dimir Charm. That was nice. Because Dimir Charm can get rid of the Spellskite, and it does so in a way that isn't easy to redirect. Another Lingering Souls. Alright, so here I guess we just play Scryland. See what's going on top of our deck. This deck is pretty sweet. Oh, there's a Muldrifter. Well, we'll keep Muldrifter. This deck is actually pretty sweet. This deck's fun. Not sure if the fact that we don't have a fast way to close out the game is an actual problem, but we play the control role pretty well. So I think we just pitch another Lingering Souls. Kind of want to save... The Undying Evil doesn't seem great, but I kind of want to save it just because it's so sweet with Muldrifter. So yeah, we'll just discard another Lingering Souls. Leave up our counter magic. Opponent still has 6 cards in hand. Alright, so now we will Dimir Charm the Spellskite. Could be relevant later in the game. Not sure that we can afford to Muldrifter yet, though. We want to Evoke Muldrifter, Undying Evil Muldrifter, draw 4, but I think we might want to sit on our counters still. Next turn, I think we can start flashing back Lingering Souls and at least having some sort of clock. We're also fine with just drawing lands for a while. Our opponent might also want us... Ooh, that was good. Also might want us to start doing dealing damage to them to get their life total down. So we don't have the full-powered Condescend by flashing since we flashed back the Lingering Souls, but we have Mana Leak, Dispel, and Dismember that we can all cast on the same turn, which is still pretty good. And we could also just cast a big, well, a Condescend for 3 and cast nothing else. So we're hoping that that's good enough. Thoughtseize. Oh, I take the Muldrifter. Okay. Interesting. Not worried about all of our counter spells, apparently. Well, we're going to do the same thing as last turn. Except, we're going to... Well, yeah, exactly the same thing, actually. Flash back another Lingering Souls. So now we have a pretty reasonable clock. Our opponent keeps hitting us with discard, but we still have a decent amount of counters. And we're at 20 life. There are advantages to playing a pain-free mana base. Like, yes, this is a budget mana base, but it's harder to get Rite of Consumption out when you're not going down to 15 or something off of your lands. So our opponent's taking removal but leaving our counter spells. So we're putting our opponent to 7. I think we just pass. Like last game, playing it slow worked out well for us. We could play Lingering Souls, flashback Lingering Souls, hope that that's enough. But I think this is just better. So we will Mana Leak Death Shadow. Opponent pays for the leak. Then we'll Condescend Death Shadow. I think we keep both of these on top. Our opponent casts another Death Shadow. Alright. Well, we get to hit our opponent down to 4, I think. Leaving back a token to block. And now we can do the sweet combo. We get to cast Evoke Muldrifter. And then put our triggers on the stack. Then we get to Undying Evil Muldrifter. So that's the combo with the deck. So we get to draw 4. We draw 2. Muldrifter dies because of Evoke, but it has Undying, so it immediately comes back with a +1/+1 counter, and we get to draw 2 more. Condescend and Dismember. Oh, I guess we just play land and pass. Sit on our counter spells and our Dismember. Definitely blocking. Don't want to get hit and then Rite of Consumption. Opponent passes. So that means we just win? Another Condescend. I think we got it. We can dispel any instance. And Angel's Grace. Alright. Well, we can't dispel Angel's Grace. So our opponent will drop to 1. And then we'll have to flashback this, or cast this Lingering Souls. So we have a blocker. Otherwise, we'll sit on our counters and Dismember. Avatar of Hope can block any number of creatures. Not going to try to counter that. Another Death Shadow. So our opponent's just emptying their hand, basically. Attacks with Death Shadow. We'll block with a token. And then I think we win from Shriekmaw. Because we should be able to just, well, let's play the land first. Want as much mana as possible. And then just evoke this Shriekmaw to kill the Avatar of Hope. And then win with our flying damage. If they have, alright, Face Shield, but we can dispel Face Shield. They have more? Alright, so destroy Avatar of Hope. I guess they could have another Angel's Grace to stay alive. We'll leave back a couple of tokens, just in case there's Angel's Grace. Make sure that we have blockers back for these Death Shadows. Yep, there's Angel's Grace. And then I guess we just flash back a Lingering Souls, make even more blockers, and pass the turn. Our opponent is staying alive with their Angel's Graces, but I think they're going to run out of luck here before too long. Not going to work forever. So I swing with both. 12 12s. Death Shadow is pretty big for 1 mana, but paying so much life is also detrimental. Angel's Grace, Thoughtseize. Unfortunately for them, we have double Condescend, so not going to work. So Death Shadow's up to 14/14 because they're at negative life. And then we just Condescend that and we win on our upkeep. Yeah, they were going to try to Condescend for Rite of Consumption. They would lose so much life that their Death Shadows would be lethal. And that would be the game. But now it doesn't work, and our opponent has negative life. So as soon as Angel Grace wears off when it hits our upkeep, we win. Sweet, we are getting there.